Hi, I'm Shaul. Apparently, next week will bring with it uh, some new camera announcements. And that occasion might prove quite tricky because every time a new camera is announced, especially a high end camera, it puts you one further step behind the curve. And that might leave a lingering sour taste in your mouth. Technological advancements in the camera industry have been slow. Actually, they have been slowing down in recent years. But nonetheless, every such advance, every new feature, every improved feature makes you feel a little bit more irrelevant. The question you should ask yourself is whether those new features are really useful to you, whether they match your style, your favorite genre. Often they are not. Often the camera you have is already quite capable to achieve the results you are looking for. The thing is, cameras can overperform vis-a-vis what you need to accomplish your style. Now that unfortunately happened to me at least once. In 2016, about a decade ago, I got the new Olympus EM1 Mark II. Well, it was new at the time. And that camera had new, very advanced capabilities for its time. It was a camera that was built for speed with unimaginable frame rates of, I think it was 18 frames per second with autofocus. That was unheard of before. And the autofocus was quite useful. It wasn't only a feature on paper. That camera actually managed to focus very quickly, to produce sharp photographs at amazing speeds. It was also a do-it-all camera, very versatile tool that could handle anything you could throw at it. It was quite a novelty to me. I never had such an efficient camera before. But then it quickly fell out of grace because I could no longer feel the friction the tools cause. It might be a controversial opinion, but in my experience, you need to have friction with a creative process in order for it to work properly. If the camera overperforms, everything becomes too easy and you become lazy. You tend to overshoot. You tend to over rely on your tools. and neglecting your creative vision, the result is inevitable. You start producing those very generic images that do not require any particular eye or mind. Of course, if you're a professional, if you shoot for the needs of your clients, if you do work that you don't personally feel involved with, that might be just what you're after. Those generic images tend to be pleasing. They tend to get a lot of likes. As you may be aware, this channel is called the Dirty Photography Club, not the Clean Photography Club. What I'm after is rather different. I'm after more emotive photographs that make you feel like you're there in the scene. Immersive work that conveys some feeling. So those fast, robust tools do not serve very well my creative process. And you might feel the same, whatever you like to shoot, whatever you like to do. To make things more concise, you have to find a camera that matches your style, that puts some limitations over you. You have to feel some friction with the process. You need to be aware of the limitations in order to make the most of your tools. It might sound paradoxical, but at least for me, it's a reality. Those slightly limiting tools are more supportive. I feel that they share the burden of creating the images I like. I can't over rely on my camera or on my lenses to produce just what I want. I have to put the mind into it. Currently, I like to shoot cameras like the Nikon ZF or even older DSLRs, like my D4S, that are slower. They are not quite as capable as the state-of-the-art cameras available on the market today. Well, they are very capable cameras. They produce clean images. You can use them at lower light levels, and they have satisfactory dynamic range for my needs. But from time to time, they can falter. You might get an overexposed or underexposed or a blurred image because the autofocus was not quite up to it, especially not with the older lenses I use, mainly on my ZF, that require some unconventional solutions for acquiring focus. Anyway, I think that overperforming cameras might quickly fall out of grace. At least this is my own experience. They are just too efficient, much more efficient than I am with my slower, more deliberate creative process. Of course, you could go the other way entirely and use underperforming kit where you can really feel the limitations of the tools and work much harder to get the results you are after. But then you might find that the camera slows you down, that it does not give you the freedom you need to express your creative intention. It might prove to be too restricting. I think Leica users, M-mount Leica users, might understand what I'm talking about. The manual focus, the need to precisely calculate and adjust exposure settings might slow you down, might make you pay too much attention to the camera itself instead of being busy with the scene, with the people you are trying to shoot. The same logic might be extended to lenses, to optics. New optics announced are mostly very clean, very flat. They might be very useful in the focal range. They might be of a desirable maximum aperture. And you might think that they will make your work more efficient, more automatic, if you will. But often those lenses are just too generic, too clinical. They give you a look that reminds you of synthetic images produced by AI models. They are often designed to produce clean images without any soul, without resemblance to what we are experiencing with our eyes in our daily lives. I find those photos created by those lenses a little bit lacking. They lack soul, they lack personality. For that, you need older, more simple optical designs that are really hard to find these days. Of course, adapting lenses to a mirrorless camera has never been easier. Using simple mechanical adapters or even smart adapters offer some kind of control over the lens, whether it's autofocus, aperture control. But the fact is that those simpler designs will give you what you are after. I'm shooting now with a Pocket 3 camera made by DJI. And its lens is a simple plastic thing that is not very emotive. The image will look flat, I'm sure, when I look at it on my computer screen. In my personal photography, I'm after more than this. I am after a soulful, more lifelike rendering that really puts you in the scene as if you were there. Modern lenses might be more efficient, might acquire focus faster. They might be more agile in their aperture setting, but they produce images that are just not what I am after. Again, it's a matter of friction with your creative process. You need to translate your specific vision into the chemistry of the image, which, as we all know, depends on the chemistry of the glass. The rendering is determined by the types of glass in the lens. Too much low density, low dispersion glass will make the image look flat. The lack of aberrations, the lack of field curvature, of flare, the high contrast typical of modern lenses will hinder this feeling of life, of reality. You might regard this video as a preemptive consolation against the feeling of FOMO associated with new gear announcements. But I would rather refer to it as a warning against chasing the most advanced, the most efficient photographic tools. Often they are just overperforming. They are much better, if you will, than you are. And they clearly do not match your intentions. They do not match your style, your rate of work, your eye. For that, you have to really look hard and find tools that can share your creative intent, tools that are just as capable as you are, not more and not less. The Goldilocks of cameras that are optimized to your style, to your genre, and to your skill level. Right, I think that will be all for today. It's a relatively short video, but I feel that it's timely. Anyway, if you like my channel, if you wish to support the work I do, please consider buying me a coffee. There's a link in the description below. It's a nice gesture between gentlemen. Thank you for watching and see you again soon.